Excuse me, what is your occupation? Does that matter? You don't look like someone who can afford a wedding here. What? We are a high-end hotel and cater to people who can afford it. To be honest, we don't take reservations from the PO. The representative said, laughing. My name is Monica. It's been 2 years since I started living together with my boyfriend, Leon. Leon is a very kind person who always thinks of me first. He might be a bit unreliable compared to me, who is more assertive, but I think we balance each other out perfectly. We always cooperate when we face problems in our lives. We're not exactly PO, but we don't dine out much and barely spend any money. Coming from a PO family, I'm quite frugal, and Leon too isn't someone who spends a lot of money, as he doesn't have any specific hobbies that require it. We really hit it off because of that. The only thing we both enjoy is traveling, so we allow ourselves a little extravagance during those times. We don't generally make wasteful expenditures, so we often opt for reasonably priced hotels for accommodation. Yet, it's more than enough for us. My peaceful everyday life with Leon was my happiness. Then, one day, Leon suddenly proposed to me. Will you marry me? With those words, Leon presented me with a ring. I was surprised, but very happy, and of course, I immediately said yes. I've always thought our marriage would work out well since our values and attitudes towards money align. It's not a very expensive ring. That's totally fine. I'm more than happy just with your thoughtfulness. Leon was humble about it, but the ring he gifted me was quite a fine piece. It might be a bit cheap compared to the market price, but as someone who isn't interested in brand name items, it seemed like a luxury ring to me. Just the fact that Leon, who doesn't usually spend money, bought a special ring for me made me extremely happy. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're happy. After that, we started making preparations for our wedding, meeting with both families and filling out the marriage forms. How about the wedding ceremony? I want to have a memorable wedding ceremony since it's a special occasion. Having a grand wedding ceremony has been a dream of mine since childhood. I want to invite many relatives and friends to a luxurious ceremony at a high-end hotel. We don't spend much money or indulge ourselves usually, but a wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I thought if there's a time to use our savings, it's now. Can I decide on the wedding venue and other arrangements? Sure, go ahead. Let's splurge on this occasion. We should use the money we've been saving for moments like this. Sounds good. Thanks. I was worried that he might oppose, thinking a modest wedding would suffice, but surprisingly, Leon was enthusiastic about it. We're frugal, but we're not stingy. When it's time to spend, we go all in. So, I immediately contacted the most luxurious hotel in the area and booked an appointment for a wedding consultation. Having a wedding ceremony at a high-end hotel isn't that luxurious. Indeed, the venue is spacious and it has chandeliers, making it look grand. That's great. I might feel a bit intimidated by its grandeur though. Well, I'm not used to this. But here, it's sure to be a wonderful wedding. Just looking at the hotel's pictures gets me excited. Then, on the day of the consultation, what should I wear? Leon seemed nervous from the morning. We're just going to hear what they have to say, so anything will do. Really? But entering such a fancy hotel is nerve-wracking. Yay, well, just dressing like you usually do should be fine. All right. We've only ever stayed in hotels where it's under $100 a night. The hotel we're heading to now is a luxury hotel that costs thousands of dollars a night. I'm certainly a little nervous myself. Let's just take a look at the venue, hear what they have to say, and decide if this is the place. Yay. And we arrived at the hotel at the appointment time. Although we had checked the photos, the lobby was so luxurious, we were overwhelmed. It's amazing. The lobby is huge, and there's even a chandelier here. Really? Our spirits were lifted by the fabulous hotel. Just fantasizing about having our wedding here made me very excited. We promptly headed to the front desk and told the receptionist we had an appointment with the wedding planner. The receptionist looked at me with a puzzled face, staring intently for a while. When I mentioned the name of the person in charge, she finally said, "Please wait a moment while I make confirmations." And the receptionist retreated to another room. For some time after that, we were left waiting in the lobby. Although we had arrived on time, I became a little irritated. Aren't they taking too long? Well, yay, but something might have come up. True, but we made reservations and came on time. Several minutes later, As it was indeed getting late, I looked toward the front desk, where the receptionist and a person who seemed to be in charge were whispering and glancing at us. When our eyes met, that representative hurried over. "Excuse me, but you didn't mistake the hotel, did you?" "What?" I was surprised to be asked that so bluntly. There's a hotel nearby with a similar name, so some customers often get confused. "No, we're not mistaken." "Really? Are you sure?" "Yes, we're not mistaken. We came here to discuss having our wedding here." I couldn't hide my irritation, and my tone got a bit strong. Leon, hearing the conversation between me and the representative, looked a bit anxious. "Excuse me, what is your occupation? Does that matter?" I grew angrier at the representative's rude question. "You don't look like someone who can afford a wedding here." "What? We are a high-end hotel and cater to people who can afford it. To be honest, we don't take reservations from the PO." The representative said, laughing. He judged us unfit for this hotel just by looking at our clothes, assuming we were PO because of our appearance. They were completely dismissing us as PO based on our appearance, judging people by the way they dress, without hardly talking to them, and then sending them away. I became filled with feelings of indignation. "Your clothes look cheap, and they are totally out of place. We have a dress code here. If you can't follow it, there's nothing to talk about." We certainly weren't interested in designer clothes, and what we're wearing is relatively inexpensive. But we aren't dressed strangely, and we're perfectly clean. And today, we only came here to discuss wedding arrangements. Judging us by our clothes is rather unprofessional, don't you think? Are we PO just because we're wearing cheap clothes? I completely lost my temper at the representative's sarcastic remark. "Well, even if you say that, it'll be a problem if later on you tell us you can't pay. Please leave. You judge customers just by their appearance. It's strange to kick us out without even talking to us. You can tell who's PO just by looking at them. We don't have time for you. It's a waste of time just dealing with you." "Hey, are those the words you say to a customer? PO people aren't customers." "What?" I had reached the limit of my patience with the representative's awful attitude. "Enough of this. What are you trying to do? Can you please not make a scene? I'll call security, you know." "Let's just go, Monica." I couldn't accept it, but Leon calmed me down, and we reluctantly left the hotel. As we were leaving the hotel, the representative and receptionist were snickering. It was a huge disappointment, considering we were looking forward to it. I was frustrated beyond words to be kicked out like that. "Let's look somewhere else." As Leon said, it's best to avoid a hotel that treats us so terribly. But on the other hand, I felt determined to have our wedding at this hotel no matter what. I liked the venue because it was so beautiful, but above all, I was angered by being labeled and ridiculed as PO. I won't be satisfied unless I show them up. "No, we're definitely having our wedding here." "What?" "I have a plan." "A plan? Just leave it to me." I decided to take bold actions to prove the hotel staff and the representative wrong. A few months later, we were back at that hotel. As we tried to get on the elevator, we were stopped by the same staff member from before. He seemed to remember our faces. "Hey, what are you doing? You're the PO people from last time, aren't you? Don't get on the elevator without permission. I'll call security, you know." "It's been a while, I see you remember us. What are you here for? I already told you last time, I can't take reservations from people like you, right?" "Yes, you did. Thanks for your help last time." Wearing such shabby-looking clothes again. It's terribly out of place here. The representative looked at our clothes and spoke in a condescending manner, as usual. "I didn't come here for you today. I was called by the manager." "What? By the manager? Don't lie so blatantly. The manager wouldn't call people like you." "No, I was certainly called. If you cause any more trouble in our hotel, I'll call the police instead of the security. Please leave right now." "That will be a problem. I don't have time to talk to you, you know. We're already late for our appointment, so can you please move?" I had intended to respond calmly to whatever was said, but I was gradually getting irritated, and my words became more forceful. "We didn't come here to argue, okay?" Leon looked worried and gently calmed me down. "I know." As we were arguing in front of the lobby elevator, suddenly the elevator doors opened, and the manager appeared. "Wow, Ms. Monica, you're here." "I'm sorry, manager. We were having trouble because this person wouldn't let us through my own hotel." The representative looked dumbfounded at the exchange between the manager and me. The surprise was understandable. He never dreamt that the person he thought was Po was actually the owner of the hotel where he works. Hey, what are you doing? You know the hotel's owner changed recently, right? This is the new owner. What? Actually, I'm an investor. I have no interest in spending money, so until now I've saved and invested all the money I've earned without wasting much of it. So, I had considerable assets. Buying this hotel was not a big deal for me. At first, when I told Leon I was going to buy the hotel, he repeatedly stopped me, saying, "You don't need to go that far. It's just a little insult." But I couldn't be satisfied unless I went this far. Buying the hotel itself would surely silence the representative. So, I spent several months preparing for this, finally sold off all the scattered shares the other day, and bought this hotel. You're the new owner. Yes, I am. You better not have been rude. The representative's face suddenly turned pale. He was sweating profusely. The other day, you judged us as Po just by our appearance and kicked us out without listening to our story. Do you treat other guests like that too? No, that's... Stammering, the representative was confronted by the manager. Hey, what's going on? Did you do something like that of your own accord? There were many other rude things said too. Manager, is this normal at this hotel? It's strange to kick someone out just because they aren't wearing brand clothes, isn't it? That comment was very rude. I will make sure it never happens again. This is a luxury hotel, right? If so, I'll be in trouble if the service isn't up to par. It's my lack of supervision. I apologize. It might have been fine until now, but I won't allow it now that I'm the owner. Please accept my deepest apologies. The manager bowed deeply to us. What are you doing? You better bow too. At the manager's command, the representative finally bowed. We'll have stopped this kind of attitude from now on. Yes, of course. Monica and Leon smiled at the representative's frustrated face. We feel so refreshed that we were able to get rid of the bitterness we felt at that time. Let's start the meeting right away. Yes, madam. Oh, and we want to have our wedding here. That's okay, right? Certainly. Leave it to me. I want something luxurious. You're in charge of the wedding, right? Take care of it for me, will you? As I turned my gaze towards the representative, he answered with a strained face, weakly saying, "Yes. I have a meeting with the manager now, so Leon, please proceed with the wedding details with the representative." Sure, got it. We'll join in when we're finished here. Afterwards, we invited many relatives and friends and were able to hold a grand wedding. Thanks to the staff and the representative, who worked hard at that time, the wedding day turned out to be quite extravagant. It was so luxurious that my parents, who never come to such an upscale hotel, and Leon's parents, were utterly overwhelmed. It's a very extravagant venue, isn't it? There's even a chandelier. Are you sure it's okay for people like us to be here? My mother was particularly nervous and seemed ready to leave even before the ceremony started. It's fine. We invited you. But my dress is so cheap. Your clothing and appearance don't matter. This hotel doesn't discriminate at all. Really? Isn't that right? I said, turning to the representative. When I said this with a sarcastic tone, the representative answered with a forced smile, "Yes, of course. See, all the staff thinks so there's nothing to worry about. Enjoy yourself today. If you say so, then okay." My mother remained tense but seemed to enjoy herself. On the way home, she was delighted and said it was a great ceremony. We did push things a bit to have our wedding here, but I'm glad we chose this hotel. It turned out to be a very memorable, extravagant, and luxurious wedding. Leon was also very pleased. It was a great ceremony. I was surprised when I heard about the acquisition. When I talked about the acquisition, Leon was opposed to it, but when I insisted I wanted to show off, he finally gave in, saying, "I'll leave it to you." I'm sorry I was stubborn. But it was good we acquired it, right? It turned out to be a wonderful ceremony. Yes, it did. Since we acquired this hotel, we'll run it properly as the owners. I'm a complete amateur in running a business, so I'll hire an acquaintance who is experienced and consult with him for management tips. Since I'm the owner, I will never allow employees to judge people by their appearance and mock customers. I aim to put customers first in our hotel. To achieve that, I plan to start slowly, focusing on employee training.